Hello, and welcome to the Metro MLS webinar reviewing the statistical reports in Flex MLS. In this webinar, we will go through the reports that are available in the statistical reports menu under statistics. So let's get started. So to access the reports, we'll click on menu. Once the menu opens up, underneath the statistics section, we're going to click on statistical reports. So this will take you into the screen that lists out the statistical reports that are available. So you'll notice here when you hover over any of the reports, you'll get a brief description in the right-hand side window. There's also a view sample link if you'd like to take a peek at what data is included on that report, what it looks like. You can do that. I'll hit back to menu page here. These reports are reports that you can run for either yourself as an individual, for your office, for your company office, if your company office lists in listings at the company level, and a lot of you guys don't, so I wouldn't worry about that choice, and as MLS as a whole, the entire membership. Okay, so we'll start off with the first report here, which is statistical summaries. So this report provides summary statistics for sales, including the breakdowns for the co-listings and the double pops, and for multiple statuses. So to run the report, we'll click right here on the link, Statistical Summaries, and it will open up. The report generation screen in most of these reports are really similar. So what you have here is the options that you can choose to search on. So when you come in, property types are all selected by default. So if you'd like to edit the property types, you can just simply click on the one or the several that you'd like to run the reports on if you'd like to. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight all of them there like I did before. These other fields are optional. Typically when you come in and you run these reports, to get the general, everything that's available, we suggest that you run your property types. If you'd like to narrow it down to a county and or municipality, or if you'd like to narrow it down to association, maybe you're a lacrosse member and you only want to look at data for your board membership. And then these are the options. Yourself as member, office is your brokerage that you belong to, company office, again, if your company enters in listings at the company level. For example, if you're XYZ Realty at Lakeshore, but there's 6 other offices underneath the XYZ Realty umbrella, if listings are entered in at that level, you can run that there. That's not a common choice. Or against MLS as a whole. That's everybody that has membership. And then these are the date range that you can have that data run for. The other options that are here, if you wanted to narrow it down to a particular status, a particular sold date if you're running sold price, pending date, you have the options to do those. Those options aren't used a whole lot, but if you wanted to do that, you could. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it pretty basics just to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to do all of the property types. Let's say I am a member in, I want to do the lacrosse area. I'm a lacrosse member just to show you that. So I'm going to select lacrosse MLS. Now, even though I am a member, I'm pretending that I'm a member in the lacrosse area. I may have listings in, Walworth or, someplace else that's in our coverage area. So this is just including lacrosse board members. If you wanted to narrow it down to a particular area, let's say you're down here in the Milwaukee-Waukesha area and you only wanted to look at data for Waukesha County or Milwaukee County or a particular municipality or several municipalities in the areas or the counties that you selected, you can. But I'm just going to do this by association just to show you. And then I'm going to select MLS. I want to see everybody. And let's say I want to see this data from the beginning of the year. So I'll select January and click on the number 1 and leave today's date there and hit next. So this will show me the summary statistics for the parameters that I just selected. So it starts off at 2%. That's kind of the norm there. Then once it kicks in, the numbers will run really fast. And just keep in mind, the more data that you include, like the time span, if you do 2 or 3 years and you've got like a lot of specific data in there, the longer it will take to load. So just, give it a moment. So this is what the summary statistics report looks like. So for these entries here, each of these columns apply to each row. So you have the sold, the list sold, those are the double pops. The co-broke on the listing side, sold on the selling side. New listings, brand new list numbers, pending, withdrawn. Canceled will always be 0. Our MLS does not use the canceled option. Listings expired, back on market, extended, those are the expiration dates that have been extended out, and it's all within the date range that you've selected here. Keep that in mind. Active in range and currently active. So for each of these rows, you get the total for each row, the total number of listings, the total list volume for each row, the median list price, the average list price, the average days on market, the average cumulative days on market. That's total market time on an address. If a listing has expired out and was relisted within 90 days of it expiring, that's where the CDOM accumulates. Once it's past that 90-day window, the CDOM zeroes out on a listing, on an address. The total sold volume, the median sold volume, the average sold price, the list price, sale price to list price ratio, and the sale price to original list price ratio. So this is for all property types for La Crosse Association in this date range. Now you may want to narrow it down. Well, let me just look at condos. Let me just look at single family. Let me just look at vacant land. You have the ability to do that. Just going back and start the report over with the options that you want. If you'd like to print it, there's a print button up here right at the upper right hand corner. All right, so this is the summary statistics report. How we got here: menu, underneath statistics, click on statistical reports. It's the first report in the list. The second report that I'm going to show you is the terms. So this report breaks down sales by the terms of sale: cash, conventional 30, that kind of thing. So let's say I'm interested in single family properties and I would like to see for Waukesha, Brookfield. Going to move it on down. I don't care about the rest of the stuff here. I want to see his MLS as a whole. So I want to see for single family properties in Brookfield, what are the terms of sale have been since the beginning of the year. So I'm just going to do January 1st, then hit next. So here it is. So for single family properties, County of Waukesha and the Municipality of Brookfield, between the first of the year to today's date, it's showing me the terms of sale. So there's ARM, cash, conventional 15, 30, federal VA, the FHA 30, WIDA, and anything that's other than these. So it gives you the total number of sales for each. Conventional 30 typically is always the number 1, and a lot of times cash follows right up behind as a number 2. So it gives you the total percent of the sales that was in the MLS. So of the single family properties in Brookfield, almost 69% of the sales were conventional 30, which makes sense. The total list price for each of those rows, those terms, the average list price, the average sold price, and the sale price to list price ratio. Okay? And again, you can run this report for your data, your office's data, or MLS as a whole. All right, and if you want to print, again, print button right there. All right, I'm just going to hit back to back up in our report list here, and next come to the market penetration report. Now, this is an interesting report here. Depending on if you choose to run it for member office for MLS as a whole, it can look very different. This is the report we call the ranking report. This is the only report in our system that will give you a ranking of members or offices. So just to show you, and I'm going to run it 2 ways just to show you the difference. So I'm going to go here into market penetration. I'm going to keep all property types selected. This time maybe I'm interested in Milwaukee County, only Milwaukee County. The sales in Milwaukee County, that is. So I'm going to move down. This report also gives you an option to filter by a saved search. So it's pointing to your personal saved searches if you wanted to filter the report using one of your saved searches. You do have that as an option. So here I'm going to select market share. I want to see everybody for sales of Milwaukee of all property types here. All right, so I'm going to do it again from the first of the year. Hit next. So now it's asking me, do I want to rank members, offices, companies, companies in offices, or rank members within my own office? I'm going to rank individual members because I did market share for entire MLS. So I'll hit use this selection. So here, next, I want to choose my report calculation method. I can rank by the total number of sales, or I can rank it by the dollar volume. It's going to show you both columns. It's going to give you both pieces of information. This is just how it's going to rank it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the members. So sold, we'll leave that status of sold because we care about the production. Listing members will show only the listing sides of that production, so only the listing members of that production. Selling members will show only the selling side members of that production. Listing and selling will show only the double pop. That one realtor was on both sides of the transaction. Listing or selling, which is the most common option, they could have been on either side of the transaction of that close, the production. Okay, if you'd like to include last year's calculations, you can calculate MLS totals based on supply criteria. You can do that. And then here, please enter the maximum number of members to display. This is where you can choose the top 10, the top 50, the top 100, the top 500, whatever number that you want. Just keep in mind, the more members you enter, the longer it'll take to run. So I'll hit next. And here it is. So market penetration report by members. So I'm looking for either side of the transaction, listing or selling for the production, for all property types in the county of Milwaukee since the beginning of the year to today's date. So J. Schmidt happens to be number 1. Non-MLS, that's where when you guys, if you happen to sell a property that was like a FSBO or listed by a member that wasn't a member of the Metro MLS, you enter those in as non-MLS. So non-MLS is typically always number 1 or number 2. So this is listing the members, the top 10 members for production for all property types in Milwaukee County since the first of the year. So here it I had it ranking by the total number of sides. So 61 sides here, and then there's the volume, although you can see the volume of the number 1 spot and the volume of the number 8 spot. The volume's more. He sold less, but he made more. So, that's kind of a really good thing there. You'll get the average sale price here, the percentage total number of sales for the MLS, and the volume percentage total. And again, there's print. Okay, so we ran this report by market share. All right, so now I'm going to run it by member. I've got to switch over to a different account because I don't have any sales in my account, and show you how to do it that way. All righty, so I'll go menu, statistics, statistical reports, market penetration. I'll do the same thing. All property types, I'll do Milwaukee County, but I'll do it for member, myself, for the beginning of the year. Okay, so that would be me. If you're running it for yourself, that would be you. So notice the options are a little bit different here. So I can compare my listings to my office, to my company, or against MLS as a whole. I'll do that one. I can do it as listing member, selling member, the double pop, or either side. I'll do that one. Then I'll hit use as member, and then it'll run the report. Okay, so now it looks a lot different. So this is my production for Milwaukee County for all property types, comparing myself against everybody in the MLS. So I had 5 new sides during that time period, 29 pending sides, 60 sold side. Total number of sides is 94. So this is my total value list price or sale price. Total volume there. Average list price or sale price for each. So for the new, that would be the list. Pendant would be the list. Sold would be the sales. My percentage of sides of MLS business. And then percentage of dollar volume of the MLS business. Okay. And again, you can run this against your office. This will be comparing yourself to your office instead of the MLS. All right. All right, I'm just going to back out of here. So that's the market penetration report. So just remember, if you want to rank members, that's that market share option at the bottom there. All right. Next is the market comparison. This is where you can compare data for yourself, your office, or the MLS as a whole, year to year. And it has to be consecutive years. So you can't compare your 2017 data to your 2015 data. It would have to be 2016, 2017. So just to show you what that looks like, we'll come in here. Again, property types, you could choose that. If you wanted to narrow it down by any other fields, you can. I'm going to do it as member, and I'm going to compare 2016 to 2017. And then I'll click use this member. That would be you. And then this is what this report looks like, yearly market comparison. Okay, so here, this chart at the top is for sold. This chart at the bottom is the new. So the first section, number of sold listings. You get the months over here. There's 2016 and 2017. There's the difference column and the percentage of change. So January of 2016, I had 35 sold listings at that point. 2017, I had 28, so there's a difference of 7. I was down, so that's a 20, negative 20 there. So the dollar volume of the sold listing, so this was the dollar volume for that month. And remember, I'm doing the non-MLS, so this is all the FSBOs that I'm looking. That's why these numbers are so huge. So that's the difference between 2016 and 17 of the dollar volume of the sold listings and the difference in the percentage of change. And then median sale price. So my median sale price was a little bit higher in 2016 than 2017. So you get this data for each of the months, and then you get a total row at the bottom. Next chart is the new listing. So it's giving you the new listings for each of the months for 2016, 2017, or whatever year you chose, with the difference. Red will always be if you're negative, if you did less the current year than you did the year before. Dollar volume of the new listings, again for both years with the differences, and the median list price for both years with the differences in the percentage of change. Okay, so this was the market comparison report. Again, you can run it for yourself, your office, or as MLS as a whole. Just click back. All right. Next is the days on market report. So this report summarizes days on market statistics for your sales, and it can also be run as MLS as a whole. So I'll click on that. So let's say we're curious about days on market for vacant land listings in Ozaki. Just to switch it up a little bit. For the MLS as a whole, we can group them by this options that are here. Since I'm doing vacant land, the rooms, bathrooms, or bedrooms won't apply. But since I'm doing the county of Ozaki, I'll do municipality and run it from the beginning of the year. Maybe I'm curious about vacant land listings in that area just to see how they're going. So here it is. So these are the municipalities listed that there was data for. If you don't see the municipality, there was no data for that municipality. So for each municipality, the number of sales since the beginning of the year, the average days on market. Looks like Port Washington is not having too many problems. The average cumulative days on market and the average days to close, DTC. All right. Okay. So that was the days on market report. Next is the price range statistics. This report summarizes sales by price range, can be run for yourself or MLS as a whole. Let's pop in there. All right, so let's say we'll do condo listings this time. Let's say we will do condo listings for Waukesha County for MLS as a whole since the beginning of the year. Alrighty, so here it gives the price ranges. So starting with the active listings, so it's 0 to 1999 all the way up to 1 million plus. So here you can see the number of listings in each of the price ranges. So maybe you can see where the majority of them sit. Looks like the majority of them in Waukesha County are sitting in the 200 to the 224,999 range. Average days on market. Got a column for that. And the average cumulative days on market. All right. So, and then at the end of each status graph there, you'll get more data. The average price for the 244 properties is this. All right. So that's the total number of properties. The highest price, it gives you that. The highest price, the median price, the lowest price, the average market time, and the average continuous market time. So you will get this little graph, this little chart at the bottom of each of the price range graphs. Next is pending. All right, same data. Next is sold. All right, and then temporary off-market listings. These are the withdrawn listings. Cancel will always be 0 since we don't use that status. You get expired. So this can be a useful report. So if you just wanted to get some basic data on price ranges for, certain areas or whatever, this is what you can do for that. All right, I'm just going to hit back. And then our last report is the managerial statistics. So this one will summarize your sales or your office's sales and listing activity. So we'll go here. So we'll leave all the property types selected. I'm going to do it for the office since the beginning of the year. So this one, you don't get the market share. It's only you, your office, or your company office. There's no market share in this one. All right, we'll hit next and take a look at this report. All right, and there we go. So this right here, current active listings, so the number that are listed by your agency, if you did it for member, that would be you. Average list price, median list price versus what's listed in the MLS, average list price, median list price, and then your office's percentage of the MLS business, or if you ran it against yourself, that would be your percentage. Next are the sold listings, information on the sold listings. So you're getting average sale price, median sale price, average list price, median list price, percentage of list price to sale price, number of units sold, and dollar amount sold. So here, the first column is where your company is the listing agent on the listing side and not the selling side, and the percentage to MLS business. Next is where your company is on both sides of the transaction, the double pops. And then the last column is where your company is on the selling side, not the listing side of that data. All right. And again, there's the print button. So again, these are the statistical reports. How we access them. So we clicked on menu. Underneath statistics, you go to statistical reports, and then there's the list here. The most commonly run reports in this section are the statistical summaries and the market penetration, but definitely the comparison and the terms and the price range statistics are useful reports. And if you come in here, you don't remember how you ran it or how you got something, don't worry about it. We're always here to help you. These are reports that you don't run all the time, so it's almost like relearning every time that you run the report. Thank you. This will end our statistic report webinar in Metro MLS.